Well, hey there, YouTube, fellow silver stackers, silver pourers, silver enthusiasts. AG Ender with you today, and this one's going to be a little bit different than I've done. I had somebody who contacted me, which isn't so different, but they wanted a um, basically an exact weight 1 ounce pour because they collect them with different stamps and kind of show them off here and there and see if people like them. If they do, they give out the information and somebody gets in touch, hopefully, along the way somewhere. So I've got enough silver here from the Michigan pour. I got plenty of silver left over in here that would cover any loss I'd have here. I do have one round left here, just generic prospector round. And first thing I'm going to do, I'll see how I can route out these two little shapes. This one you can't really see. Maybe you can. But I use my stamp to get it in the wood because I want to try and do not just a generic graphite pour or something like that. I wanted to do something that I've been doing and have gotten not too bad at doing. So I've got one shape that's just the stamp here in the piece of wood, and another one that I enlarged by about a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. Hopefully it can get flat enough that I can make the stamp, and big enough but not too big to where it's more than 1 ounce on the second pour. So we're going to get some routing done here with the little Dremel and the attachment and take these down, melt some silver, see where we end up with weight, and yeah, hopefully it all works out. So I'll see you in a moment for the first pour. So I don't quite have the silver melted yet, but I'll try and angle this over a little bit. You can see the two little shapes I routed out here. It almost reminds me of pouring into the little starter molds with the quarter, the half, and the full ounce pieces. Well, actually those would have been gold, I believe, so they're actually like an 1/8 of an ounce, half ounce, and quarter ounce shapes in those small molds. But that's kind of what these remind me of. They are big enough for my stamp, but they're not very deep. Actually, I don't know if either of these are even going to be a half ounce, let alone an ounce, but we'll give them a pour, pop them out, pour again, and see how they look, and maybe even a third time, depending on if the weight's real close, we'll pour it a third time. So let's melt some silver and see how it turns out. I'll see you in just a moment. Alright, well, I decided to do this a little bit different. I just melted what was left in the dish, and you're going to see where it ends up filling up this bigger mold. Then kind of looking at it, I think it might need to even be bigger than this, actually, but we'll find out here in a moment. So here's the first little pour, nothing too exciting, but probably get a little bit of flame. Alright, so I will route out another one, but what that will give me, whoops, basically that filled up half of it. So probably going to be 3 times whatever that weight ends up being, just because of the initial burnout, and then depending on the pour, I usually put in at least an extra full ounce, depending on how big it is, but with this, I'd only probably add a quarter to a half at the most. So we'll definitely route this out a little bit bigger, but we'll have to see where that weight ends up being. Let it cool off here, and probably dump it in the water right now and dig out my scale. It shouldn't be too far away. There's that. Let's grab the scale. I don't know. There's the box. Too much stuff here in the shed. In just a moment. There is. I don't know if might be able to read that. I don't know if the glare in here is too bad or not. We'll go. Oh, and 20 ounces. Grab a towel and dry this off. Like I said, my guess, whatever this is, I would have poured twice as much for the first pour. So we are at 0.15. Yeah, you can kind of see that there. So 0.15 was half, so I had about 1/3 of an ounce. So I've got to go at least half again as big for the actual pour. So hold tight, I'll get another little shape routed out and we will pour the rest. What I might do, I'm debating on doing a few little pours like this so I can have different weights that I can kind of measure out and hopefully get maybe 105 and then whatever, have a little bit of loss maybe on that last pour, but go down to even 1 ounce because that's what I am aiming for. But now that we know half of what I did is 0.15, I can play with some math and go from there. That's showing 1.4 now, so 1.4, 1.5. So hold tight and try number 2 will be in just a moment. Okay, so here we go with the first pour into what I hope is the last mold. You can see I made one a little bit bigger here. I melted all the silver I have, so it's a little over 1 ounce. And I'm hoping there's some left in the dish after I pour it in here. So let's see. Well, there wasn't any left in the dish. However, it is quite a bit over the top of the mold. So I'll let that burn down and I'll try and pour it again and hopefully just short pour it just barely, just enough to get down to that 1 ounce, and of course cover it. I've got a spare dish here that will fit right over the top just right, so we've got that. But I'm going to let it do its thing, burn down, and see where we go from there. Hold tight. Okay, it looks like pour number 2 here is ready. I still may have to do this again because I was hoping for it to be pretty straight edge, and that first one didn't quite burn out even enough, but we'll see where this goes. There we go, that filled in there, so we'll cover this up. I did short it just a hair, hopefully it's enough. I don't know if it is, so we might have to refigure the shape a little bit, but find out here in a moment. Hold tight and we will see how it looks after the smoke clears. Alright, so let's take a look here. That's not too hot. That didn't turn out terrible, but go in the water there. It's got an okay shape to it. I do wish it was a little bit more squared off. Fairly smooth, but it still has a bit of a round top to it. And like I said, I was hoping this would be a little more square. I mean, I can always sand it down, but we'll see how much the short pour worked out. You see that, I think. And 12 ounces. And 104. So I just about got it. I'm hoping maybe 102, 101. So I guess what I can do is whatever's here in the dish I can pour out somewhere and keep that, since this should do now for what I need. But again, it didn't quite turn out as even as I was hoping for, so what I will do is route out another shape. So hold tight and I'll be back. Okay, I think we're ready for the next try here. I'm going to go this time with the 1x1 squares. So we'll get this first pour done and get the burnout done and get the second one poured and hope that works out and we're all set for the day. That filled in nicely. I think that will work. Let it burn down, and yeah, I think this one worked out nice and even. The other one I also didn't quite have this board level. You can see this crack down the middle, had it kind of crooked. So on this one, that rectangle bar, kind of dug in a little bit on one side, and that kind of hurt its even-sidedness. So we'll let this keep going. Come back in just a moment for the hopefully final pour. See you soon. Okay, so that one turned out well. I still might pour one more after this, depending on how the backside looks. So I have my dish ready to cover, the silver is ready to pour, so let's pour. Well, that did not quite work. We got to go just a little bit smaller. That didn't quite fill in the square there. So we're going to have to go a little bit smaller. I will see how the stamp kind of sits on this once it cools. That way I know width-wise, as long as my stamp will fit on there, because that was part of what they wanted, was the stamp. They've got over 40 different poured silver pieces from different people with their specific logo on it, so I need to at least have it big enough for the logo. So hold tight, we'll come back with attempt number 3 and mold number 3. So hold tight, and I don't know if I'll worry about the first pour, but I will come back for the second pour. So hold tight, see you in a moment. Well, I changed my mind. I'm going to do the first pour also here on video. As you can see, smaller square. This one's 3/4 of an inch square, so let's see how this one turns out. Pour it here first and let it burn down and come back to the second one. So here's this one. Let that burn down. Make sure I keep all this silver because I was just barely over an ounce, and come back for second and probably a third pour. So hold tight, I will be right back. Okay, we're ready for the next pour. I do believe there will be one more, but we will find out right now. Yeah, we'll need one more pour. Hopefully that doesn't get too misshapen. I don't know, this may still have to be rerouted again. So hold tight, we'll be right back. Okay, so after looking at this one, it's not going to work. The way it burned didn't work out, so we're going to reroute this one more time. Hopefully that will be the final time. I'm going to make it a little bit deeper also. Hopefully not quite get as much overflow and round there on top. So hold tight, and we will come back with mold number 4. So here we go. Okay, here we go, mold number 4, first pour. I made this one a little bit deeper. It's still 3/4 by 3/4. And we'll see how this works out. As long as everything burns out the way I would like it to, this should be it. But we won't know until the second pour. So hold tight, we'll be right back for that. So here goes with what is hopefully the final pour. I still might do another one. It depends on how the backside looks. But here we go. And we're covered. That should still be right around that 103, hopefully less, actually. Get it a little bit closer. I am going to do a little sanding work on it to flatten out the top side. It will still kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, muffin top, bread loaf, whatever, a little bit over the top. They usually do. It doesn't matter how deep they are, but we shall see. And hopefully that is it on the pours. So hold tight. See you in a moment. Alright, here it is. Didn't turn out too bad. Like I said, it did kind of do the little rounding there, but not a bad look here on the bottom either. So I think I'm going to keep this and work on it, see how smooth I can get this. We are at, well, you can't quite see that, 1.01. There you go. Now you can see it. So that's right where I wanted it. We will polish this up, clean it up, hopefully flatten it out a little bit, and be right back and show you how it looks at the end. Hold tight. See you in a moment. Well, here it is, all finished. Nice lines here on the back. Not crazy deep like I get on some bigger pieces, but it will do the job. And then there is that side, nice and mirrored. You can see a reflection of everything here in the shed. And 1 ounce Troy. And I just put the scale away, hold tight. I'll turn this back on real quick and show you. But after polishing and cleaning it up and getting it nice and smooth, there you go, right on 1 ounce. So we have success. 1 ounce wood pour. So there we go. Thank you all for stopping by. We're hanging in there for this video, a little longer than usual on these pours, but I don't usually need to make 4 different molds. So again, thank you. I will catch you next time. Anything you like that you've seen in the past would like, or if you can come up with anything else for me to make, I will see what I can do for you, and we will go from there. So until next time, A.G. Ender signing off. Have a good night.